All right. Morning, everyone. We are joined here with 8-time PGA Tour winner and 2025 Ryder Cup captain, Keegan Bradley. Keegan, welcome here in Napa. Just want to start, what is it like to have 10 of the team members here getting ready for competition mode and enjoying some team bonding in Napa?
It's been really, really great. It's really fun to be together as a team outside the Ryder Cup because the Ryder Cup is so intense and nerve-wracking, so it's fun to see the guys be able to interact. A little lighter scene here, and seeing the guys together is really great. Something that we really wanted to accomplish when we started this process, and it's been really fun to see the guys all together.
I'm going to go ahead and open up to questions to the group. You guys have a question? Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. We're going to start off here with Marty.
Hey, Keegan, Marty James, Napa Valley Register. Welcome to Silverado. I saw you on the golf course yesterday with several of the Ryder Cup members. What exactly is the role that you're performing this week in advance of going to Bethpage Black?
Well, I think for me, it's really great to be around the guys. It's the first time that we've had, forever we've had a group of, 20 or 25 or so players that had a chance to make the team. And now we know our 12, and it's great to be around those guys, hear what they're saying, and we're really kind of finalizing pairings and figure out how to send them out. And it's really fun for me to be the captain in front of the guys and not be playing, because when I'm out there playing, I have to still be focused on that job and practicing, getting ready to play. And now I have one job, and that's to prepare them and to do whatever they need this week to help them play better.
Just one follow-up, Keegan. How great of a team is this when you assemble 12 players who are all world-ranked, who are all PGA Tour champions, world major champions? Can you talk about just the overall depth and talent of this team?
Yeah, we have a wide range of rookies, veterans. Scotty Scheffler, #1 player in the world, but we really have a great team. These guys they really care about one another. They treat each other with respect. It's the closest team I've ever seen. Our President's Cup team last year was easily the best team room I've ever been a part of. Something that you really dream about as a kid with these team events. And this group looks a little different on paper, but it's still the same dynamic. This group of players, they're truly friends, and they're friends off the golf course, which in my teams that I played before this, I don't know if we exactly had that as much as this group does. They really care about one another, and the thing that I've noticed that's most impressive is they really pull for each other, and they want each other to do well. When I was playing, I wasn't really pulling for anybody. I was wanting to beat and play my best, and these guys, they're genuinely excited for their friend that wins the tournament, and that's really great.
We have Bob Herrick here.
Keegan, what's obviously this is a little in the weeds, but the last two Ryder Cups, the home team has really done well at foursomes, almost. If you have any thoughts on that, and also just on the difficulty in the format itself and finding the right matchups and getting guys to play something they're not used to.
Yeah, I think foursomes is obviously the tougher format to pair because you have to factor in. There's so many more factors. There's the golf ball. You really want to match up the personalities with foursomes because it is a way tougher format. And I think when you're on the road, it's much more comforting to have a best ball partner. So when you're on the road and you're standing on that first tee by yourself and that alternate shot, it's much tougher. So I think that would be the reason. It's easier to play better at home. Seems like over the last 30 years. So, but foursomes is we have some history in some of the pairings, but we also have a bunch of new guys, and it's really been great to see the willingness for our guys to really play with anybody. Again, I don't necessarily feel like we've had that in the past teams that I had. And these guys are put me with anybody, or who do you want to play with, like, whoever you want. Willing veterans coming to us and put us with guys that haven't played a Ryder Cup, or which is really, really special. It's a difference maker, I think, in how you're going to do it in the Ryder Cup.
Right behind Bob and Paolo.
Yeah, you mentioned the importance of this week and having all the guys here. I'm curious, when did it become clear to you that it was important to do this week? And then what were those conversations like, trying to get the guys to all come?
Well, I think the players knew it was important. This Ryder Cup means everything to them. We talk a lot, behind the scenes of how much this means to us, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to be prepared. So, this is something that we wanted when I was named captain. This was something that I wanted, but they wanted it more than I did. So this made it really easy. When the players take accountability for their team, good things happen. And they all love golf too. So they what an opportunity for them. They're all staying together this week. They have a great time. For me, I'm stressed out about playing. I'm practicing. They're like another week to hang and get a team bonding, and things happen a lot easier when the players want to do it, and they're a good group. They wanted to be here.
Moving over to the left, we have Brody here, and then we're going to come to Doug.
Now that things are settled a bit, looking back to say the dinner you guys did in Philly in May, I believe, how much in the last 4 months has those kind of events and things like that kind of gotten you here? And also, how did that work with, say, guys that maybe broke out later? I don't know if a Ben or a JJ was there.
Yeah, I think in order to create a good team and a good team atmosphere, it can't happen week of or even the week before. So I really wanted to have it work up the whole entire year. And there were some guys not at that Philly meeting that were nowhere in the picture at the time that that we've brought up to speed, that I've spoken to privately. Ultimately, though, when you're together this week and you're with all the guys this week and you're on the team, that's most important. And it's really been fun to see guys like Ben Griffin emerge, JJ emerge, guys that may not have been on our radar to start the year, but what an addition to our team.
And you've been on teams in the past with different kinds of stars, and you were on the President's Cup team last year. How would you describe what the energy Scotty brings in a room as one player?
To be honest with you, the more I'm around Scotty, the more I'm impressed with who he is. We all know what a generational talent player Scotty is. But when you see Scotty around our guys, around the rookies, the willingness of him to do literally whatever it takes for us to win the Ryder Cup. And when your best player is doing that, your rest of your team is going to fall in line of his lead. And I think what's most impressive about Scotty is just the person that he is. When you see the way he plays golf, you're amazed. But then when you speak to him and you're around him and you watch him from afar and you watch him with his family and you see his interaction with the younger players and the caddies, you really have I admire him. I look up to Scotty. I'm not afraid to say that. He does a lot of things right, and shows up in the golf course, shows up in the team room, and obviously he'll be a big part of our team at Bethpage.
Back over here to the right, Doug. Then we'll go to Al.
Following on that, how much pressure does Scotty face when he's been that good? I mean, you had Tiger at Medina in 12, kind of a similar situation. It's a lot on him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think anytime I was out there following Scotty in the Pro-Am today, and I was thinking, said to my coach, I was like, it's what a weird thing that there's a better chance he's going to have a chance to win this week than not. And so he tees it up every week knowing he's going to go through some serious pressure, no matter what. And I think that is part of the Ryder Cup. It's when you're the best player on their team, when you're Rory or you're Tiger or Phil or whoever, you carry a big burden for your team. I think that happens with Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, and these guys are built for it. I think that they, in a sick way, they look forward to it. They want that pressure. And not everyone wants that. People can say they do, but not everyone wants it. And Scotty, I think he would hope that it comes down to him in singles. I bet you he dreams about it, and that kind of separates Scotty from the rest of the guys.
Finally, Keegan, what percentage do you think of your partnerships lineups do you have in your head right now? How far along are you, basically?
Very far along. Yeah, we're 90%, I'd say. one of our goals was to have the guys prepared, ready to know who they're playing with, and especially an alternate shot. I think that's more important. I think best ball, you can have a little more leeway there, but we're pretty set here of what we're going to do.
Moving over to the left side, we have Alan Shipnutt.
Keegan, I'm sure you remember at the last Ryder Cup, Rory all but guaranteed a European victory. You probably heard about his height, Sam reiterating that. Just two questions. How much do you love the banter? And do you think this psychological blow by Rory actually puts more pressure on him than it does you guys?
To be honest with you, I really don't care what they're doing. I don't care what the Team Europe does. All I know is that they have, I think, when I look at their team, I see maybe the best European Ryder Cup team ever. They're really deep, top to bottom. They got major champions. Rory's having an historical year. But I don't care what Europe is doing. I only care about our 12 guys, our caddies, our the wives. I only care about what we're doing. They're a confident group. They should be. They won the last Ryder Cup. Their team is solid. Luke Donald is maybe the best captain ever, somebody that I've always looked up to, so they should be confident. But I really don't care what they say about us. I only care about our team.
Do you enjoy the chirping though? It just adds a little extra to it.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun. I think the Ryder Cup brings out a lot of emotion in people, and I think that's great for our sport. I love it. I love everything about the Ryder Cup, especially it's just the passion. Like Rory cares about the Ryder Cup just as much as he cares about winning the Masters or winning a major, which is the way it should be. It's awesome.
Alan, you can pass it next to Adam, but while we're getting the microphone over there, we have Nick here in the front, very right.
Keegan, almost along those lines, and I imagine you've thought a lot about this. Why is the Ryder Cup important to you?
I think as a kid in sports, you always are craving that team atmosphere. And with golf, we don't get that ever. And when you're playing for your country in any sport, it heightens all of that. And I think for us, we really only get one time a year to do this. And when you're a part of it, it changes you forever. It really does. It changes you the way you prepare. It changes the way you set your goals for the year, for your career. And in golf, you're so alone all the time in this process. And then when you're in a team room, or you're even just having dinner last night, and you're looking around at the guys, and they're all in this together. And you're looking at guys from J.J. Spahn to Ben Griffin to Scotty Scheffler, and all of a sudden we're all in the same team here. And it's really such a special feeling to be a part of, because it's so rare. And what I've been telling the team as well is, you never know when your last Ryder Cup is. My last Ryder Cup, I was the deciding point for Jamie Donaldson, and I certainly didn't think that was my last shot in a Ryder Cup. So, you really want to enjoy every second of these, because you never know when it's done.
When you've said that to them, how have they responded to that message?
They get it, because we got I at some point this is going to end for all of us. It's going to end for Scotty. It's I tell him it's ended for Jack Nicklaus, guys like that, the best player, one of the Mount Rushmore players ever. And you have to enjoy these moments, because you never know when it's done. You never know when it's your last dinner like last night. You never know when it's your last time hanging in the team room with the guys. So you have to cherish every second.
Moving over here to the left to Adam, but then we can go Bob and Rex.
At the end of a full swing show this year, there was a video of you talking about how the U.S. is going to win. But the part I wanted to get your opinion on is when you talk about how people underestimated you all your life and they're going to doubt you. Where does that come from? Why do you feel that way?
Well, I think we can all agree that me being the captain was definitely a shock to everybody. So I figured, I didn't have the experience Luke had, and I just think growing up where I grew up in New England, you don't really become PGA Tour players. And I actually had people my whole life, adults, tell me that I wasn't going to be able to do this, which I think back now is being pretty weird. But I just always sort of felt like, I wasn't recruited for college at all. No one ever thought I could be out here, so I always kind of had to have a mentality of like us against them, or they don't think I can do this, or so I've always sort of had that mentality, and I don't know, may carry it over my captaincy as well.
It looks like you are a believer in the pod system Paul Isinger liked to use. Is that accurate, and why did you decide that that's the way to go?
I don't necessarily think pod system is something that I've done, but I have leaned on Paul Isinger. I text him all the time, talk to him all the time. I think he, when you talk to the players, you look back, a lot of guys will say he was just a phenomenal captain, one of the best ever. So I really lean on stuff that he did, week of stuff he says to the guys, his mentality, his mindset for the week. I just really love Paul Isinger as well. I think he embodies the Ryder Cup and the energy that the U.S. team needs.
Your own little spin on pod system?
Yeah, I think for me, I've taken you look back on your captaincies or your playing days, and you think about what you loved about the captains and what you maybe didn't like. Take those, take out the stuff you didn't like, take the stuff you like. Talk to the captains that were really successful, and Paul Isinger was very successful at what he did, and sort of was a pioneer in the way he did things. And I think that any resource like that can be helpful.
Moving back over here to the right, we have Bob. Let's get over to Rexon.
Keegan, I wanted to follow on that a little bit. Your 2 times as a player, what did you learn from that you're using, and maybe what are you discarding? Like, what didn't you like that you felt like, hey, I'm not going to go down that road?
Yeah, I feel like I've had incredible captains in President's Cup and Ryder Cup, and I have a much different perspective now as the captain, looking at what we did during the week, what we didn't do, and I think it's important. I keep trying to remind myself as well that I was chosen to do this job to do it maybe a little differently as well. So, me being the captain isn't really the status quo of what the U.S. side has done. So I remind myself and the vice captains all the time that we were picked to do this job because we wanted a little shift in what we were doing. And I think like little things the captains have said to me, as a player, stuff that maybe I didn't love, I avoid saying. I'm not going to sit here and call out captains of what I didn't like, because they were all great. But I think you got to use your experience. You got to use the minds of the older players that played. We also have Jim Furyk, who I found out yesterday has been a part of 14 straight Ryder Cups since 1997. So he's seen everything, and it's 24 total team events he's been a part of. So he's got an incredible perspective, a person that I lean on a lot, and that, quite frankly, we need his advice and what he's thinking.
We have Rex in the very far right back.
Keegan, you said you're about 90% sure, at least on your pairings, going into Friday. So would this week be more just about getting the team together from a personality standpoint, more so than maybe a format or a pairing standpoint?
Yeah, I think the more times we're together, the better. So we have a big chunk of our team in Jupiter as well, and we're all together a lot. These guys they know each other so well too, but I think it's really important for us all to be together with the caddies, with the team, the group that's going to be on the course at Bethpage. And the more you're together, the more the rookies are around Scotty and JT and Patrick, the guys that are veterans, the better, the more comfortable they feel. And I think this setting is great because it's outside the bubble of the Ryder Cup where the stress is high. And we're able to see the guys sort of, relax and talk to each other. And I think it's really important. I selfishly wish when I played these teams I had this week, because it's really a fun time to all be together.
Moving over to the left side, we have Steph.
For the U.S. team, do you think players have an innate sense of respect for the captain, or do you feel like you've had to earn it?
Oh, I definitely. They have the respect, but you have to earn the respect of the players. For sure, especially I think normally you're looking at your captain. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a guy we all grew up idolizing. almost every time. So I think, for me, I had to really prove to the guys that, this was something that I could handle. And, I think in the game, in our sport, and any sport, any job, any thing in life, when you have the respect of your peers, it's really the greatest thing you can have. So I have to earn that respect every day with the players. I'm going to have to earn it today when I'm out there. I'm going to have to earn it Ryder Cup week, and that's something that I don't take lightly.
We have time for just a few more. We have Andrew here.
Keegan, you talked a lot about the camaraderie, making sure that everybody is together as often as possible. Do you get a sense of what this week is like for Bryson, since he obviously isn't going to be competing?
Yeah, I mean, well, in the golf world right now, we're in an awkward spot with some, where we sit in the golf world, and a lot of that responsibility has fallen on Bryson he has to make a much bigger effort than a lot of the guys. And Bryson was there last night. He's been incredible. He's been more than willing to go above and beyond for this team. And, I think it's a testament to what a good teammate Bryson is. And I think it's actually really cool to see, for the guys to see. It's easy for the guys to come play here and come to dinner. Bryson's got to get on a plane. He's got to come to these meetings, and I think it's a great thing. It shows the commitment that Bryson has for the team, and he's going to be a huge asset for us. And obviously, from the standpoint of how good of a player he is, but he's also fun to be around. He's great to the younger guys. And it's fun for us to see Bryson in an atmosphere outside the golf course as well.
We have time for just two more. We're going to go Jack, then we'll finish up with Doug.
Yeah, obviously it's a great opportunity to keep the games fresh and get everybody together, but how much, or has there been any conversation around this is a great opportunity for the fans as well on the West Coast who won't be able to make it to New York to see the team play and see the best players in action?
Yeah, I think how incredible that Scotty Scheffler's playing in Napa this week. It's really, really great. Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, our whole team. What a great thing for the tour, what a great thing for the area. And, who knows, going forward, this could be, part of something that we do every year if it works out. And the Procore and the tournament have been really, really great to us. We had a few asks that we needed to get the players together, the pairings, and they've been really great. We probably couldn't come here if we couldn't run it like we wanted to with the team. So they've been really, really great to us, and we're lucky to have the tournament to help us do well at the Ryder Cup.
And Doug will finish us off.
Two things. If someone who just didn't know much about the area were to ask you, how is a New York fan different from other fans in the U.S., what would you tell them?
I would say that New York fans are extremely passionate. I think that multiplies when you're wearing your country's flag on your chest, and I think that multiplies even more when you're playing on their course at Bethpage. I think, if you talk to a New Yorker, they have all these prestigious clubs like Shinnecock and Wingfoot. You ask a New Yorker what their course is, they'll all say Bethpage Black. We've been working. There's a group of players called the Nassau Players Club that they only play Bethpage. They won't play any other course. And you talk to them what Bethpage means to them. It's not only the golf course, but it's their dad taught them to play there. Then their grandfather taught them to play there. They caddied there. So it's much more than a golf course to a lot of these people. And when you add all those things up, you're going to get fiery fans.
Secondly, thanks for that. Bringing Larry Nelson into the fold, I just wanted to ask you how much it meant to you personally, not so much the Ryder Cup, but the connection through his service with your Uncle Ricky.
I think that Larry Nelson is one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. And at the PGA, I sort of had this idea from the start. And then he came to the Champions Dinner at the PGA Championship. And hearing the stories from him and Lanny Watkins and hearing about these old Ryder Cups and just knowing about his service to the country and his incredible Ryder Cup record, and then to top it off of what a amazing human being he is, it's more of an asset for us to have him around, to have him around our guys, to have him talk about what the Ryder Cup means to him, tell stories of when he played, he in his Ryder Cup where he beat Seve 4 times. This is what an unbelievable. It's like up there with winning a major. Nobody's ever beaten Seve in Ryder Cup 4 times. So it's really more of an honor for us to have him. You know, it's sometimes I feel silly in this role of like inviting Larry Nelson to do this when he's, you know, just this amazing golfer, but even better person, even bigger role in our Ryder Cup history. And it's really fun for us to see the guys around him and to have him there and have his knowledge and just his presence. He's a guy that we all look up to and really look forward to bringing him in at Bethpage.
Do you feel a connection at all with his service and your own?
Definitely, and it's when you talk to Larry Nelson about this stuff, he's such a humble guy, and you want more stories. But I really feel it's our duty to, you know, honor people like him, honor you know, great Americans on our Ryder Cup team, and you know, when you have a guy that's alone is one of the best Ryder Cup players ever, but then you factor in his service in Vietnam and what he's done for our country, it's really stunning. It's really like an unbelievable story, and I also feel it's so silly how I can be Ryder Cup captain and he can't. He wasn't. He would never say that. I felt like it was our duty to honor him and what he's done for us.
Perfect.
Can you give a little color of how you asked him?
He lives in Atlanta, and we were having our dinner in Atlanta with the team, and we brought him. He came in to do some interviews with the PGA of America, which I think was a little bit of a setup for us to. All the vice captains, we came in and surprised him and told him, you know, and it's all going to be. We have some film of it, and I was really nervous because I wanted to honor him the way he should be, and so we sort of surprised him at Atlanta, and he generously accepted, and it was a really great day.
Perfect. That's all the questions we have.
Thank
Keegan,
you.
we appreciate the time.